All right, Fernando. Hope you're staying warm there in Minnesota. Just wanted to take a minute or two to walk you through what this is going to entail for you. So basically, we're going to resource you with a handful of things, and I've already got an email opened up here, kind of recapping everything that we're going to go over today. But essentially, you're going to get kind of a Nutrition 101 guidebook from us, kind of giving you the broad brush strokes of what it means to have a solid nutrition program. The big takeaway that I want you to have is this, is I don't encourage people making any big sweeping changes, typically because that's just a recipe for failure and regression. Especially whenever you are out of town, on the road, it's equally, or it's basically compounded exponentially more difficult to stick to something that is rigid or very restrictive, and that's not what I want. So we just want to give you some broad brushstrokes on like, hey, try to stick to this, try to stick to that. Just make some small changes that over a period of time are going to add up to some big wins and improvements for you. So I know losing weight was going to be your biggest goal. I've got your InBody here in front of me. This is just a screenshot of the InBody of a blog that InBody wrote. Don't pay attention to the numbers yet because that's not what yours was. You were 237, 102 for muscle mass, and 60.3. And there's something within the muscle fat analysis that we go over in person, which is referred to as the letters CID. C as in cat, I as in Ivan, D as in David. And what it is the shape that the 3 points make. So what you can see here is that, stick with me, it's kind of a loose translation, but when you've got a weight that is relatively on the lower end, this guy is actually a huge NFL lineman or defensive back that they're looking at, but you've got high muscle mass and low body fat, it makes this letter D, all right? And that is good. That is an indicator that things internally are good. Where we usually start out seeing people is their weight is high, their body fat is high, and then their skeletal muscle mass is low. So we see people start off in that C shape. Over time, what we want to see is people translate from a C, and then as we move their muscle mass up and their body fat comes down, they might have an I, so all the numbers are relatively close in this graph, and then they eventually migrate to the letter D. So in this guy's case, I would say if he was not an NFL lineman where mass was needed, he might just want to drop, 30 or 40 pounds. That way he would have a nice solid D shape. For you, that's really what the prescription is, my friend. Your muscle mass is great. Your weight can come down, and your body fat mass can come down. So that's what we're going to shoot for here, okay? Percent body fat, you had 25.4. But what we're going to try to do is just get that down a little bit more, okay? But I just wanted you to kind of get an understanding of what that picture means for you, okay? So this is going to be your guidebook. This is just a handy, what are the things that I should be doing to stay on track? Eat from this column, gray area. I wouldn't do a ton from this column just because you are trying to lose weight, and then as much as possible avoid from this column, okay? But it's got a bunch of questions you can ask yourself, talking about water, the benefits of fish oil. I'll let you read through that. It is important. And then there's just a really healthy eating template. Now, I don't know what your kitchen accommodations are for your hotel, but suffice to say, whenever you go out, if you can just pick something that is basic, that just grabs some sort of lean protein, a good helping of vegetables, and maybe a small serving of starch, that is what we're looking for, okay? But if you are cooking at home and you're looking for something that is simple, we're going to say pick a protein from column A. Here are the columns down here. Add a spice or an herb from column B. Pick a veggie from column C. Add it to a pan. Cook it for 5 to 10 minutes. Is it done to your liking? Great, then eat it. If not, cook it a little bit longer. But we're just looking to make things nice and easy. So that's the first resource. Second one is going to be a 4-week sample meal plan guide, and with all the recipes in it. So if you're looking for some variety on what to make, the meatballs are fantastic. I've had those. I love anything with shrimp. That's a good one too. And this roast pork tenderloin has been one of the favorites over the years that we've handed this out, if that is an option for you, okay? And then the last one is, if you have an opportunity to get to the grocery store, just some things that you can focus on having on hand. I know for, whenever you're working out on the road, sometimes the snack thing is the toughest. So if you can have some turkey jerky, some nuts, and some seeds to kind of satiate you in between your 3 big meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, then that is what we want to shoot for, okay? And then this last option is going to be what we call our food options guide. It's just another resource. It's colored up nice and pretty, but this tells you, protein sources that are lean in terms of fatness, moderate, and then fatty. Volume carbs, this is the carbohydrate that we want you eating a lot of. Fruits and starches, this is something that is going to take up a quarter of your plate. We call it the starch side. And then, sugars, be aware of this. Healthy fats, definitely use this for cooking or dressing your food up. But essentially, one of the things that we are going to ask you to do is eat by what we call the plate method. And the plate method is simply this. Imagine a round dinner plate, divide it in half. Half of your plate we want to be full of this stuff here, the volume carbs. A quarter of your plate we want to be full of something in the lean protein section here. And then the final quarter we want to be something here. So the starchy carbs, a little bit of that, or the low glycemic fruit. We want to stay away, since you're trying to lose weight, from the high glycemic fruit stuff. So again, just to recap, the plate method, half of the plate is dedicated to the volume carbs, a quarter of the plate is dedicated to lean protein, and a quarter of the plate is dedicated to your starchy carbs, potentially some fruit. Okay? So here's my prescription for you. For the next 2 weeks, what I want you to focus on, I wrote it down twice, I want you to drink 80 ounces of water a day. Especially being in a cold climate, we might even bump this up a little after the first 2 weeks, but let's stick there for now. I want you to start bringing a healthy snack with you, piece or two of fruit, some nuts and seeds, and then finally focus on the plate method, all right? So again, just to finally recap this, half veggies, more is better here, quarter protein, and then a quarter starches. If you've got any questions, let me know. Just shoot me a quick message. Like I said, I figured this would be the easiest way to get it in front of you, since we can't do a face-to-face meeting. But let me know if you have any questions, and we'll get you going.